Hey everyone, Mystical Mark here. So this is going to be a bit of a different video. I know normally I focus on just astrology, and I tend to keep my main focus there. However, astrology, like anything, is a tool, okay? And there are certain topics and subjects that you can't necessarily use it for. I mean, you can kind of to an extent to see the current energies and things, but if you're wanting to put a more focus on a certain topic and things, using other things such as, cards are a good way to kind of tune in and get certain guidance on topics like that. So I am going to do this, and if this goes well, I might end up doing more videos like this regarding larger topics and events and things of this nature. And I have actually put some card readings in my Etsy shop if people are interested. I'll get to that in a second. And just as some background here, I have done card readings before for people. I have learned how to do this in the past, like over a decade ago at this point. So I do have some experience with this. However, I've never read on such like a large topic such as this. And I also want to preface this by saying that I'm reading on the situation at hand itself, not specifically towards the people involved. Because for me, myself, and in my own experience, in terms of the aspect of ethics and integrity surrounding this, that whether you like the people involved or not, there's still an aspect of consent involved here, in which I'm not going to read on a specific person unless they give me their explicit consent that I can do so. Now, when it comes to public figures and things like that, like we're going to address in this video, I'm not specifically addressing the public figure himself. So in this case, we're going to be discussing like Donald Trump, the current president of the United States, and this supposed like erasure of LGBTQ rights. Okay, like we see this going on. There seem to be targeting specifically trans rights, but I think it's the whole thing. Okay, we're all kind of in it together at this point. But seeing maybe more of see if there's any guidance on what's maybe really going on, what's really the full purpose of this situation, like what is actually going on here, because it seems very targeted. Now, we'll get into more of that in a second, but what I'm getting at here is that I'm not reading on a specific person, although I think with Trump, my guidance kind of feels like he doesn't really give a shit, because he just doesn't. Because there's other people that have read on him, and so I'm not denouncing any kind of accuracy or anything, but what I'm saying is just from my own ethical standpoint, I'm not going to do that without permission, or if I'm given the green light by them or anything else like that, right? Because when you're doing a reading like this, oftentimes if I do readings where somebody asks about somebody else and they don't want that other person to know certain things, I'm just going to be blocked. So I'm not going to get anything coming through. And when somebody gives you a reading like that, where you're thinking about somebody else or something, and it's supposed to be for another person, but they never gave consent, what comes through in that reading is likely just for you. All right. The universe is still going to give you your reading, but it's not going to be, it's going to be what they want you to hear. It's going to be what you need to hear, or what they're going to tell you. It's not what you want to hear based on that person. Okay. So you got to be careful, kind of be careful with that. All right. So before we get into this, of course, I got to do my usual social media things. So if you are looking for any kind of a reading with me, which does include oracle card readings now, or looking to support me through Ko-Fi, through membership or donation, or if you want to join the Discord server or whatever, all those links are in the description below. In my bio, if you are on TikTok. Okay, what else do I want to say here? Yeah, the easiest way to support is just like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube, hit that follow button if you're on TikTok, as it helps the algorithm to push this to more people. Okay, now, as I say during my astrology readings as well as during a card reading, is that when I get things through intuitively, and especially for a card reading, when we're looking at future stuff, because there's a part of this where I'm going to pull cards for the future. When we get to that point, you have to remember that's from this point forward. If we stay on our current path, then that's the likely outcome, okay? That is always subject to change. We have free will. So what I'm reading on now is from this date, I'm recording this Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. So from the point that I am doing this is how, how this is all coming through. Okay. But free will is involved from any parties involved in here. And we're talking about a large subject with governments, large numbers of people. Okay. This can change at any time. I'm recording this from this point as to kind of see what's going on. And specifically for future readings, that is only one potential outcome that we'll focus on later here. And it is always subject to change. So just be mindful of that. All right. Okay. So what I thought of doing with this is I kind of wanted to do this topic, one, because I felt guided to do this topic. I haven't really seen readers really touch on this, or maybe I'm not following the right ones or something. I mean, I don't really watch anybody else's videos, to be honest, because I don't want to have their stuff, because I do this work, I don't want to watch something and then become biased towards a certain conclusion on something. I like to do this myself and get the guidance stuff coming through from to have my own unique perspective on this. So I don't like to do that. The only time I would really watch other readers and stuff is if it's based on astrology or a topic, that I'm doing, that I would watch them after I've done my video. Okay, so then that's when I do it. That's and then I can be like, oh yeah, that came up for me too, or whatever, something like that, instead of, watching it and then your ego gets involved and it creates a big mess. All right. So I'm not doing that. So again, I don't know if other people have touched on this topic or whatnot, but I'm going to do it. Some people might think this is like a suicide mission, or some people, I don't know how talking about human rights is somehow controversial now. I don't understand, but okay, sure. I guess it's kind of messed up, but whatever. But I'm going to talk about this anyway, and this is LGBTQ rights and the fact that they seem to be just falling apart, specifically in the US. Okay, I'm going to say this right now. I'm not American. I'm Canadian. But just watching all of this unfold is kind of like, what the fuck is going on? And maybe other people want to know what the fuck is going on, right? So we're going to take a look here. What I'm going to do is, because it seems like specifically LGBTQ people are being targeted in a sense, as well as other people are being targeted in a certain sense too. So what I want to do is I want to pull one card for maybe, why are we being targeted? Like, what's going on here? Then I'm going to do a 5-card pull on, hey, what really is going on here? What's the situation about? Then we're going to do a 5-card pull on, what can we do about it? As the LGBTQ community, as allies, supporters, whatever, as humanity, just in general, because we should all be loving and supporting each other no matter what, as long as you're not hurting anyone. Okay, but, and my camera keeps, not focus on me, camera, I'm here. Okay, and so we're going to do 5 cards on maybe what we can do about this, and then we're going to do a 5-card pull on the future outcome from this point, obviously. Okay, so we're going to begin here. I am using the Guardian Angel Messages Tarot by Radley Valentine. All right, I like the vibe of these cards. I tend to connect with angelic and archangelic energy, or 5D energy and higher kind of thing. So that's why I use these cards, because they're a lot easier for me to connect through in that way. Okay, I know other people prefer traditional tarot or other oracle cards or whatever. I call these oracle cards because that's technically what they are. They're based off of the traditional tarot deck, but it's different. Okay, but it's what I'm using. All right, sorry, I just kind of bumped the mic there. Okay, so just gonna give these a bit of a quick shuffle here. Maybe you can hear this on the mic. You get a little bit of shuffling ASMR while I do this. Okay. I haven't done a card video in a while. This is kind of, you have to clear your space properly. And if I'm I don't want to hit the microphone, and I'm just, this is All right. Okay, so let's get a pull here on. So first thing is, why are LGBTQ people being targeted? Why does there seem to be a target on our backs surrounding the erosion of human rights? Let's see what comes out here. Okay, we've got actually 2 cards I want to pop out. Okay, hold on. So the bottom of the deck is the moon. So we got intuition, illusion, revelation. So the first thing I kind of got with this was like traditional meaning of the moon card is in like there's icky things that need to be faced here, but there's like, it's like the hidden stuff, you know what I mean? And then we've got the eight of air, which is the 8 of swords in traditional tarot, as well as the 7 of air, or the 7 of swords. So there's a feeling of being trapped here somehow when really we're not. Okay. There's a deception going on here. I don't think that this is, how do I put this? Because the 7 of swords is very like deceptive energy. It's like trying to, okay, I'm getting this now. This is people trying to be sneaky and take advantage and just do what they want to do. There's something nasty going on with this, but there's this idea that we're trapped, okay? And it's like, it's the icky stuff. So there's the bottom of the deck here is the moon card. So it's like, it can be illusion, it can be whatever, but it's almost like the illusion of being trapped. Like, there's obviously a deception going on here. There's obviously like, almost like an awareness of negativity. If I wanted to say like douchebaggery, of like just, camera focus on me, please. I know with the cards it's difficult. I'm going to be sorry if I'm out of focus. I'm just going to keep talking. Okay, so one of the cards here one of the words that I'm being drawn to on this card is the word confusion, just above my fingers there. Okay, so there's an aspect of confusion. The 8 of swords is feeling like we're trapped, but there's like a deceptive type of energy. This could be the deception in terms of, okay, I was going to say making us feel like we're trapped, but I'm feeling like that's not what this is. I'm feeling like there's something shady going on here. Like there's something, almost like there's something shady, there's something hidden, especially with the moon at the bottom of the deck. Because my question was, why is there a target on our backs? It's like there's a deception going on here. There's something shady going on here. And there's an illusion of being trapped. I'm going to pull for clarification on what this 7 of swords is. Can we get more clarification on what this 7 of swords is, please? I got the moon again. There's a hidden deception going on here. The bottom of the deck now is the Queen of Swords, Queen of Air, Queen of Swords. She can be a harsh bitch. This could also be a person. I'm getting, it's a weird energy. It's a feminine energy, but it's very negative feminine energy. It's very much like a cold bitch, like an evil witch is kind of the vibe of this. And it's weird because it's like I understand, but I don't what it's trying to say in kind of a weird way. Sorry, I'm just looking at the cards laid out in front of me right now. And I asked for clarification of that 7 of swords, and we get the moon again. There's something that's veiled. There's likely something that's hidden here. There's a deception going on. And there's this idea of being trapped. So Okay, I think we're likely going to get more information as I do more readings going through here. So we're just going to sit with this for now. We're going to move on to asking about, this situation, like what the hell is going on here? What actually is going on? Versus just necessarily why we have the targets on our backs, because it looks like there's... Yeah, okay. Let's move on to that 5-card pull and then see if we get, see if this ties together in some way. Okay, I'm just going to do a little clear of the deck here. I mean, to be honest, I'm not surprised by those cards, but at the same time, I wasn't like... Yeah. Okay, so we're going to pull now. We're going to do 5. Oh my. Okay, I'm going to shove those back in there. That's like quarter of the deck flying out here. Okay. I'm going to pull 5 cards on what is actually going on. There's this erosion of LGBTQ rights, specifically seemingly targeted towards trans, but I feel like it's everyone. It's reading an article how they want to overturn gay marriage now or something like there's all this stuff that seems to be like targeted at us, but there's some weirdness. There's some weirdness going on here. So for those of you who maybe have never watched me when I do my astrology videos, when I burp like that, it's usually the guides trying to say, okay, pay attention to that. It's like there's some weirdness going on here. Okay, and I think we're kind of well aware, or maybe people are just focused on like, oh my God, my rights are being taken away. Like they're freaking out. But sometimes it's like, okay, but there's something being hidden here. There's some weirdness going on here. And maybe that's the message, the key message that maybe is another thing trying to come through with those cards. All right. So now I'm going to pull 5 cards based on, just what is going on here. Like why is this happening? What is going on? Okay. So let's go with the first card here. What is going on? So card 1, this card seems to want to come out too. Okay, card 2 we've got, let's go card 3, what is going on? Okay, there's like 3, okay, all right, I think we've got our cards here. So bottom of the deck here, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So, it's the Ace of Earth, but in traditional tarot, the Ace of Pentacles. It says abundance, opportunity, and resources. So, and there may be an aspect of money surrounding this. New money, it's like an earthy thing. So when you think of earth signs in astrology as well, like new foundation, something like that. Okay, but the first card I've pulled here was the card of release. So endings, transformation, freedom. This is the death card, if I remember correctly, in tarot. Of course, with this angel deck, they don't really use like that kind of thing, but it's release. This could also be the devil card. I don't remember the exact number, but regardless, what I get from this is the vibe of Scorpio. So release, endings, transformation, and freedom. So I believe, this would likely be the death card, just because I feel the Scorpio vibe with that. But again, I'm not using traditional tarot, I'm using this. So we're just going to roll with this idea of release. So there's something transforming and changing here. I do get a strong, like I said, Scorpio vibe with this. You can even see on the card, it's like the phoenix there. The idea of like Scorpio energy, the phoenix rising from the ashes, that idea of transformation, healing, freedom. One thing that is coming through here with me now is this idea of facing what you need to face. It's like facing your enemy head on. It's like we've existed in a world where we've been consistently marginalized, like hated on, all of this kind of stuff. And it's like the idea that in order to reach a better place, especially in terms of Scorpio and that vibe, in order to reach a better place, You need to face what you need to face in order to heal, transform, and be able to, live again, be the phoenix rising from the ashes, be reborn in that sense. I'm just kind of being drawn to the next card here, which is the Five of Water, which would be the Five of Cups. So disappointment, regret, forgiveness. So you have to remember, though, with the Five of Cups, you're kind of looking at the spilled milk that is existing at the bottom here, but you're not noticing at the top, like in this one, there's still the carton and the two cups that exist. Okay, so focusing a lot on the negative part, but there's still something up here. So it's like very, very much what I'm getting is we're focusing so much on the negative parts of this and not what we can do, where we can go, what is left, how can we make this better. It's like that's the kind of thing, and I think that deals a lot with this aspect of transformation. One thing with Scorpio is that it has a very strong focus and desire. Now, when we're going through an aspect of healing, when we're moving through that, the idea, is that we shouldn't keep ourselves stuck there. We shouldn't remain the focus on constant negative. It's like we need to face what we need to face to get the root of the problem in order to heal and transform. But constantly remaining stuck there can kind of keep us from moving forward, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting with that. But another one of the words that's kind of popping out on this Five of Water card is the word of disappointment. So it's like we've kind of fought very hard for where we're at now in a lot of ways, and now it's seemingly just completely falling apart. So I think there's this idea of death and then disappointment, right? But we're kind of, it's like I said, it's like almost like facing the enemy in that way. And then we have the next card here, which is the Five of Earth, or the Five of Pentacles, which is lack, worry, and assistance. All right, so there seems to be a lot here so far of, and I'm going to get to the next two cards in the second, because I think I'm kind of seeing how this is going here, is this aspect of feeling left out in the cold, focusing on like the disappointments, all of this stuff going on, facing what we got to face. It's like death, endings. We're feeling like, oh my God, like what the hell? But it's the aspect of facing what you got to face, surrounding these disappointments, regrets, lack, all of this. And then we have the card of the Emperor, and then we have the Wheel. So think of the Emperor for what you will in this sense. However, one thing that was kind of coming through here was this idea of confidence surrounding this card. Okay, so one part of this in terms of the transformation and release and healing, when we do transform and heal in that sense, when you are fully healed, you regain that aspect of confidence back again. And I feel like feeling left out, feeling that like Five of Earth, Five of Pentacles energy, like we're out in the cold. It's like because you have to remember with this card, it's like you might, in the traditional tarot, it's some dude that's like hobbling around and like out in the snow and it's cold, and then there's a building where it's like, yeah, but you could just turn and go inside. Like it's like you're focusing on this lack, you're focusing on the constant lack. And I'm not saying that maybe that's what we're focusing on, like as an LGBTQ community or allies, focusing on the lack, but maybe we need some of this, right? We need that confidence back. Because when you look at something like, let's say, Stonewall, for example, well, people eventually just got so fed up with shit that they ended up creating that riot, which led to that revolution of rights in the first place, right? So what happened to that? Like we're looking at all of these cards here, and it's like it's shoving with this card with that as a Scorpio vibes. It's like shoving everything in our face about this disappointment, regret, putting us out in the cold. This is also the card of being a victim. So this is also like victim energy. But what combats victim energy? This. being like, no, I'm not going to be a victim. No, I'm not going to let this situation walk all over me. No, I'm not going to whatever. So now I feel like, why is there a target on our back, like I've said before? Well, maybe this has something to do with throwing in our face what has existed this entire time, is that the governments, the structures, everything, is that no one has, ever really liked us. In a sense, but there's also a deception here in that we're thinking that this is happening to us. But there's something else going on in that maybe there's more to this that is actually helping us to heal and transform, right? So it's almost like using a bad situation to help things to improve. As much as that could be maybe kind of weird analogy in that way. And of course, the final card here that we have is the Wheel, which is luck, progress, and change. Okay, one thing that I'm being drawn to in my mind here is that we have Pluto in Aquarius. So you have to consider Aquarius is like letting your uniqueness fly, right? Understanding that variety is the spice of life. Understanding that diversity is just normal in Aquarius. Okay, we're all unique individual people, yet we're all a part of the whole, right? We're all a part of society in that way. So, and with Pluto there, it's giving power to that sign, that power of that aspect of transformation, of release, facing what you have to face in order to bring about that change, that confidence in terms of being ourselves, like that confidence to be ourselves, to be that emperor, to be that, it's that divine masculine energy, that divine masculine aspect. And I've talked about this in my astrology videos, specifically surrounding Mars retrograde, that, we all have divine masculine, divine feminine energy within all of us, regardless of our physical gender, body, gender identity, sexual orientation, whatever. And all of that is still valid. All of that is still valid 100%. But we all have both divine masculine and divine feminine energy within all of us. And when we look at those spiritual principles, it's the masculine energy that usually is that, that leader type of energy. That isn't to say that the feminine is weak, though. The feminine is extremely powerful energy, because what's the feminine? Facing what you got to face, understanding what you have to transform and heal. What I'm being drawn to again is Pluto in Aquarius, but Pluto itself as a planet, as the modern ruler of Scorpio. That idea of transformation, that idea of facing the enemy, facing what you have to face in order to ultimately release it and heal. Right? It's like going through any kind of like trauma therapy or something, having to be able to appropriately talk about what's going on, face it, how are you going to deal with it, transform it. If you want to do it from like a spiritual perspective in terms of like maybe energy healing or something like that, where that energy is eroding like the negative blocks and stuff within you, to face it, to erode that so you can transform and heal, right? And Scorpio is also like the sign of sex, so it deals with that aspect of life force energy that is involved with that, right? But ultimately it's that idea of like transformation, of healing, of release. Okay, it's like releasing these old ways of being, because we have to understand this aspect of diversity and uniqueness of our world, our reality. Like if everyone was the same, if we all fit into the same box, how fucking boring would that be, right? And it's like I said before, variety is the spice of life. Diversity is important. But there's this idea of this victim energy, of this whatever, but we're not paying attention. We're not taking a look and seeing, okay, but what's left? What's left? What can we still use to gain this? To gain this, and then ultimately this. This is the wheel. Okay, this is like the universe pulling the strings, that change is occurring. We're shifting. Things are shifting and changing into a new direction. In fact, the words in this card are luck, progress, and change. The word progress, as I was looking at it, reminded me of that aspect of Aquarius again, an extremely progressive sign. Interestingly enough, we have this progress on this end of the reading, and at the beginning we have this. So when we take into account like Scorpio energy, or in this case maybe Pluto, and then like that Aquarius, that idea of progress, change, whatever, shaking things up, right? So again, that's kind of Interesting, I wasn't expecting to really talk about astrology in this, yet here I am. In terms of maybe the energetic vibe that's surrounding this, but there we go. So that's kind of, when I said what is going on here, well, there's this idea of facing this aspect of victimhood, that kind of energy, ultimately to regain confidence and to, transform and change. The idea of, being ourselves, the ability to be yourself, regardless of what is going on in the world. To, you don't want to necessarily be playing that victim card. And I'm not saying that everybody's necessarily like playing the victim or, oh, woe is me. There's a lot of people that get really hurt by a lot of these situations, that experience a lot of trauma. But transformation, release. Sometimes you gotta straight up face the enemy in order to win the battle, right? If you're gonna win the war, you have to fight. You have to storm out there and face it, right? You have to be like, for those of you that watch Star Trek or something, like the Klingon warrior, to go out there and die in honor or something like that. Okay, but I'm not saying that this is what we're going to do. Okay, don't go out there and start fighting people or anything. No. We need to do this in appropriate ways first and understand and our confidence too. Okay, and one thing, I guess I touched on energy healing before as well, is that when we heal a lot of the trauma, a lot of this stuff, the confidence naturally just comes back, right? When we face what we have to face in terms of our victimhood here, in terms of, where we felt left out, what's going on, the confidence comes back. It's almost like to that point, I'm kind of being told here, it's like when you're at rock bottom, it's like, well, I can't go any further, so I might as well just be myself. You fucking hate me already? Whatever, fuck you then. I'm just gonna do it and be me. I don't care. Whatever. And again, that's that Aquarian vibe. It's that not fitting in with any rule set or anything like that. That aspect of revolution, of not listening to the rules, being that one that just steps out of bounds, being like, yeah, I'm not going to listen to your fucking rules then. I'm going to do what I want. Right? It's that idea, and that pushes for progress and change. Okay? So that's kind of maybe like what is going on in terms of this situation here. And again, I feel like the Ace of the Pentacles at the bottom is maybe it's not such a money thing. Maybe it's a new foundation. Right? Because we're dealing with earth signs. Remember what I said. So maybe there is money involved still too. I don't know. There very well could be in terms of whatever. But the Ace of Pentacles, it's an ace card. It's the start of something new. There's something new going on here, especially when we're having to face what we got to face, that idea of transformation as well. Okay, so I'm still going to pull the 5 cards on, what can we do? So we have a general idea here now of what the situation is. So we're going to pull 5 cards now on, what can we do about this? How can we, heal, transform, etc.? What is it that we can take action on in this situation to help us through it here? Okay. Right. Just gonna shuffle a bit more. Okay, there we go. And all right. So we're gonna pull 5 cards. Trying to combine my words here. We're going to pull 5 cards now regarding what can we do as the LGBTQ community, as a community, and as even just as a people, as humanity. So what can we do? What is it that we can do in this situation? I'll pull the first card here. What is it that we can do? Okay, it feels like this card wants to come to... Sorry, I keep... interesting. Sorry, I'll show the cards in a second. So we got 2 cards here. Pull the 3rd card. What can we do? This one wants to show up. Let's pull... Okay, it feels like this one wants to come. And then, so we have 4. Let's go for one more. The 5th card here. 5th card here. fifth card here. All right. Some interesting cards. So at bottom of the deck is the Six of Pentacles. However, I want to talk about the first card here we got, which is the Five of Air, or the Five of Swords. It says mistakes, melodrama, and reassessment. However, one thing that's coming through, especially in the traditional aspect of Five of Swords, is this is winning at all costs. So, okay, I'm getting two different things coming through here. So this is one, us as a community wanting to fight to win at all costs. What can we do? It's like not back down in one thing. It's like, but in order to, you know, be like, okay, like we're not going to back down. We're here. We're queer. We're, you know, like we exist. You can't just destroy us. Okay, no matter what, you could kill all the LGBTQ people in the world, but then you know what? The straight people are just going to give birth to new ones anyway. So it's not going away. No matter what you do, okay, and I don't mean to feel you have to push trauma onto anyone by like talking about, you know, killing or anything like that. That's not my intention. I'm just using that as like an analogy here. However, what this also can be is the people that are like against the LGBTQ things also trying to fight to do whatever they can to win at all costs, but in a very nefarious and negative way. Okay. But the next card here, interestingly enough, is like the Ten of Cups. So it's like, it almost feels like don't give up. Okay. Is kind of like the vibe that is coming through with this is like, don't give up. It's like, you've got to keep going. Like there's it, but the words on the card: mistakes, melodrama, reassessment. Reassessment is kind of the card here. It's like in order to win at all costs, you need to reassess. You need to reassess what's going on here. Okay, how the hell are we going to do this? Because we want to be happy, right? This is almost like fighting for this happiness at all costs. Okay, and also what I'm being drawn to here in this sense is this idea of this family. Now, what are the people that are against us that you know, they're trying to fight for like the traditional form of family. And that's kind of what I'm getting from the vibe of this card. So this is kind of twofold. This is fighting to win at all costs in order for ultimate happiness. But the other side or whatever, they're thinking that they're fighting for whatever at all costs to win at ultimate happiness to fit into some old outdated realm or ideal. Okay, so, and I think, okay, the word reassessment is kind of coming back here in this sense, in that there needs to be a reassessment here of maybe what's going to make us happy. Okay, and that's on maybe, well, because by trying to win at all costs, by destroying somebody else's rights just for some vision that you have, is that really making everyone happy? Is that really honestly true happiness? Or is it winning at all costs for everyone to be happy? You know what I mean? So that the traditional, what am I trying to do here? So that the traditional family can exist, but that any kind of unique family unit can also exist in the same way as well. Right? Because we are all unique individual people. There is no one-size-fits-all answer to anything. Okay, and so, yeah, we gotta, there's no one way to be. And I think there's that idea of like continuing to kind of like fight the good fight is like winning at all costs. It's like, well, what am I trying to say here? It's like there is no one way to be. So maybe winning at all costs is trying to, we exist to make people realize that there is no one way to be, right? There isn't. And that this traditional idea that people have was maybe just a fallacy in the first place. And that everyone can have this in their own unique way in which that exists for them. Okay. The next card here is the Seven of Fire, or the Seven of Wands. Of course, is a challenge, determination, resistance. So this is staying determined. The next card I also have here is a very like fiery card. So is the Four of Fire or the Four of Wands. So prosperity, contentment, celebration. What I feel like is this is support. So the vibe I'm getting from this card is with the seven of Wands and the Four of Wands is fighting together, standing up for what's right together, ultimately. And that's the support. Okay, that's the support that exists, is to stand up to whatever challenges that are occurring, and that's the support that comes in. What's the support? All of us together. Okay, and that we're getting back to that Aquarius energy, that sense of community, that idea that even though we're all individuals, unique individual people, we're all still part of one thing, of the same thing. Right? And then we have the last card here, which is the Eight of Water, or the Eight of Cups. So, and this is searching, empowerment, fulfillment. This is like walking away. What I get from this is it's not giving a fuck anymore. It's like, I'm done with your shit. I'm walking away. Okay? It's like, because of this idea of standing up and that idea of community support, it's like, I don't need your outdated bullshit views of the world anymore. I'm leaving, I'm walking away. And that could be coming from as well what I'm kind of getting, that newfounded confidence from whatever that Emperor card is, if we're considering that like the situation, what is going on as a whole and what we can do. This kind of comes from that aspect of that Emperor energy, is standing up together as a community and learning to support each other, right? And I almost wanted to say like fighting the good fight in a sense. And this Eight of Cups is from walking away, is what is no longer fulfilling anymore. All right. Or walking away to new lands. It says empowerment is kind of the word that comes through here. It's just what I really, the vibe that I get from that card is I'm not dealing with your bullshit anymore, and just turning and walking away. It's like the angry spouse type energy. It's like you're having an argument and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't care, bye. You're just turning and walking away, right? It's like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. I have every right to exist. I have every right to be who I am. I have every right to whatever. I'm doing my thing. Fuck you, bye. All right, that's the vibe that I'm getting from that. Let's take a look at the bottom of the deck here is the Six of Earth, Six of Pentacles. I'm getting charity, generosity, windfall. The initial thing I got when I was looking at charity is that idea of sense of community and being charitable to each other, and approaching, or this aspect of material and physical balance, is that maybe we don't need the rest of the world to actually support us. We can get along just fine. But I almost feel like that's not the full answer, because we need to still exist within the world. But it's like, how do I want to say this? Through the support of each other, we will get to that point of where, we just walk away and not have to worry and care anymore. Okay, and then it's not going to matter what anybody else thinks. It's not going to, excuse me, I'm burping there, so pay attention to that. It's not going to matter what anybody else thinks. It's not going to matter about whatever. It's like we're still going to be ourselves no matter what. And that's in terms of any kind of diversity, anything like that. Okay, so the burps are coming, so obviously that's the message that is kind of wanting to really come through here. Okay, so that's what we can do. So what we can do as a community is finding that balance, that giving, that aspect of giving and receiving, of being generous towards each other in terms of, finding the right amount of support to be able to, win the fight, win the battle. Because what is going to stand up to this is that support from each other. Because the Four of Fire, Four of Wands is that card of support. It's a very supporting thing. This can be like a marriage card in a kind of sense as well, but that's not really what we're doing, because in traditional tarot, it's like two people under the little tent thing or whatever. But what it is it's that support. What I'm getting from that is support. All right, so yeah, let's have a look at the future now. So again, when I talk about future aspects of this, so we've looked at why is there a target on our back? What is this whole situation? What can we do about it? Now let's have a look at the potential future outcome. I think we've maybe kind of can see that a bit through the readings that we've done so far, but I'm still going to pull 5 cards on it. But you do have to remember that this is a potential and is always subject to change, right? We can make it better, we can make it worse, we can, free will is something that exists here. So just remember and be mindful of that, all right? So let us pull 5 cards here on, what is the future looking like because of all of this? What is the final outcome? Okay, what is the final outcome from all of this in the future regarding this? So let's pull our first card here. Someone wants to come. I'll show you this in a minute. I'm going to first card. This is the second card for the future outcome. Second card. Oh, come on. What is going on here? I'm kind of feeling, hold on. Let me see if I can get, okay, second card. Okay. Third card. Okay. Let's go fourth card. Okay. And a fifth card. Don't worry, you guys are gonna like this. It's okay. It's okay. Fifth card. What's the fifth card that wants to come through here? And there's something else that wanted to come. Okay, bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck is the High Priestess. The words on the bottom are intuition, wisdom, and patience. The first word I was drawn to was the word patience. Okay, but I feel like with this High Priestess, this is a very strong divine feminine energy. This is feminine energy that's coming through to help support us. We have to think that in this world, in this society that has had very negative masculine ideals, and masculine energy is not inherently bad. In fact, there's good and bad to all things. There can be negative feminine energy as well. However, in our society, in our world that we've existed in terms of like the patriarchy and all of that, a lot of what we've experienced as masculine has been extremely negative, can be extremely narcissistic, abusive towards the feminine, suppression of the feminine, etc. Seeing the feminine as weak, all of that, but that's fucking bullshit. The feminine is not weak. The feminine is equal in power to the masculine, just in a different way. Okay, I'm talking energetically here surrounding this, all right? As, like I said before, we both have divine masculine and divine feminine energy within ourselves, regardless of, like I said, gender, physical gender, gender identity, sexual orientation, all of that. I'm sorry for being blurry. I'm gonna be pulling up more cards again, so yeah. But the feminine is not weak. And like I say in my astrology videos too, one of the most powerful signs that I feel in astrology is Scorpio. And what is Scorpio? A feminine sign. It's that idea of transformation, of facing what you have to face, doing what you have to do, right? People are scared of Scorpio. Why are they scared of Scorpio? Because they're afraid of the skeletons that exist within their own closet. They're afraid to face what they gotta face. They're afraid to look at what they need to look at. They're afraid to heal. They're afraid to look at that trauma to heal it so that they can be a better person, so that they can heal it, so that they can have a better life, right? People just want to sweep it under the rug, ignore that it exists, pretend to be happy and move on. Well, you can't do that. Scorpio requires you to have the strength and the courage to face what you have to face to ultimately heal and transform it. And that's part of that. It's a feminine sign. It's from the feminine perspective. Feminine energy can be extremely powerful. It is extremely powerful, just as powerful as the masculine. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's less than or better or anything like that. Different just means different, okay? But it's still equal, all right? Okay, let's get to the cards here. Of course, the first card that I pulled out. So remember, this is a future. the potential from this vantage point going forward, okay? It's always subject to change, but we're going to start here. We have the wheel again. Luck, progress, change. This was the last card of when I said, what was this situation in terms of what's going on? Well, luck, progress, change, okay? So I don't know if I said the word progress, but I did now. Okay, so luck, progress, change. I feel like the idea of progress, it's the wheel spinning. There is change that is occurring, all right? The next card here, of course, is the three of Earth, or the Three of Pentacles, which is this idea of working together. So remember, I mentioned this idea of working together. The idea through that support, through fighting this, is working together as a community, understanding us as a human race, as a humanity, through that uniqueness and individuality that exists within all of us. That variety is the spice of life. Diversity should exist. Fighting for it, pushing for that change after facing the darkness, facing the negativity that exists that has tried to suppress that for so long. Next card is the card of justice. Okay, fairness, the law, karma. All right, what I feel, this is more like just bringing a balance to things. This idea of justice. It can be like that Libran energy in astrology. It's bringing that idea of balance and justice that is coming through, which leads us to the next card, which is the sun. Okay, so success, recognition, enthusiasm. This is an extremely positive card. Extremely positive card. All right. The final card here that's paired with another one is the Ten of Swords. Okay, so I feel like this relates to that Eight of Swords energy in terms of the target on our back. We're feeling trapped. There's a deception to this. There's sneaky energy here. We're not seeing this for what it is in terms of why there's a target on our back, but I feel like maybe what that is now is it's a deception because we really have to face what we have to face in terms of this energy. And through doing that, it brings an ending to those negative thoughts. Because air, swords, that air signs in astrology, communication, thoughts, the mind. Air, swords in tarot is like the same thing. It's the mind. It's that aspect, right? And the Ten of Swords, this brings an ending. The traditional look on this card is somebody lying on the ground with all these swords shoved into their back. But what it does is it's like it's done. There's an ending that's occurring here, but it's a positive one because it brings this aspect of justice, collaboration, working together, progress, okay? Ultimately leading to all those old thoughts, beliefs, all that stuff finally coming to an end. Finally coming to an end. Okay, the card that came out with this was the King of Air, the King of Swords. Okay, this can be the card that the word that I'm being drawn to on this card is respected. Okay, by standing up, you earn that respect to be like, you know what? I'm not going to fucking take your bullshit anymore. I'm not going to respect you if you're not going to respect me, right? It's that idea of this man can be seen as being cold as well, right? This can be a very cold kind of card, but what I'm being drawn to now is there's an aspect of like Aquarius to this. In the northern hemisphere, Aquarius happens, in the wintertime. It's when the sun goes through Aquarius. Okay, but it can be like a very cold, it's not warm. The opposite sign to Aquarius is Leo, which is, the sun's home. It's the home sign. So Aquarius is where that cold is. But what I mean, I'm not meaning that it's cold in a negative way. What I mean is it's drawing out this aspect of that Aquarian energy again. That idea that we are all unique, but we all belong together as part of the whole. It's like the idea of, when you shine white light through a prism and it breaks apart into a rainbow. Well, there's that spectrum that exists within that white light. The white light is everything together as a whole. When it shows through the prism, it shows all the facets of it, right? All the different colors, even the spectrum within the different colors, like all the different shades of red, of orange, of all that stuff that exists within that. But it's all part of the one, right? And it's the idea of we are to be respected. We are to be respected, and it puts an end to whatever. I'm being drawn to the word, the word freedom in this card. It's freedom from, I almost want to say the bashings, but in terms of communication, words, all of this stuff, it brings a freedom and it brings that aspect of respect. And I'm kind of being drawn back to that Eight of Cups sort of in terms of just walking away. But it's walking away from those old things. It's walking away from where we've been before. And it's like, you know, not giving a fuck anymore. We need to move forward. We need to make progress and change. Right? All right. I mean, that's all I've really got. That's all that's kind of coming through here. That's all I really wanted to ask. So, yeah, I think maybe what we're seeing... It may not seem very good on the surface, but ultimately when you're faced with something like that, it does just push for progress and change, really. And to face maybe what has already always really existed, like I said, you know, like that nobody really has ever really had our backs. Like maybe certain laws and stuff were put in place, but did they actually ever really give a shit? They're just putting it there to just shut us up? Or did they actually care? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that might be the case. Like there may be legitimate people that like, yeah, put that there because they do care, right? But what I'm saying is that like this energy that is coming up right now with this target on our backs, this almost seemingly intense hatred, is just like there are certain factions that have just they've never really liked us in the first place, and that has always existed. But in order to heal this and transform this, we need to face it head on. We need to see it for what it is in order for it to heal and transform and ultimately make progress and change. All right, that's all I've got for this video. As I say in my astrology videos, if you have made it this far, leave a purple heart in the comments so I know you're a real one. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was insightful. And if you want me to do more of these, let me know in the comments. All right. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care.